I don't know how many, I don't know what happened, folks. Apparently I'm back on, and I don't know what got through to Rumble and what didn't. Very upsetting waste of time. And I appreciate you all joining me and then being disappointed, but coming back. Let's see what happens, how many people make it back. And I appreciate everyone on Rumble for staying with me. I can't see where my, I had my studio set up. Oh my goodness, good. I got some people showing up. Hi, Bubba. Where you been, Bubba? I hope you're all right, my friend. Finding Dory. Haha, this is like a blast from the past. Sissy, how are you doing? Sherry, Colette, and Debbie. Where did everyone go? I was playing my videos and I got unceremoniously dumped. I have found that in most cases, I don't know if this case this time, but Rumble does not let me go. But I have a provocative title, and I had provocative photos, and I played a provocative video at the beginning, which I don't know what's going on with that. Let's see, Colette's here. Let's see. Hey, let me see. Make sure I got everybody. Rain's here. Andrew's here. Angela. Bush is here. Benjamin. Nice to see you all. Wow, that knocks you off your game when you got to deal with these. Okay. But at least I'm not knocked off my game like Kilmar Abrego Garcia's knocked off his game. This is him going into his detention center, and he says, America corrupto, or, I don't know, government corrupto, like we're corrupt, okay?
Gobierno corrupto. Curly.
We got Judge Paula Zinnes fighting tooth and nail to keep that little cretin in our country. And we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. That's what I've got on my thumbnail. And what I put up there, if you'll notice, I'm sure you did, is I don't even know if my title's still up. I have no idea. But this is where I put the White House put the flags at half staff for what happened today at another Catholic school during their first mass of the year, school year. Had a lunatic go berserk. That's what I put in my title. A trans lunatic. All these things I couldn't say before and put in my title. And, you know, call me jaded. But does that have anything to do why on YouTube all of a sudden my stream gets slapped down out of nowhere? Miss Mendersu, how are you? Anne's here. Good. Where you been, Bubba? I hope you're doing all right. I was worried about you. Now you're back, so everything's okay. All's good in the world. All's well. So anyway, I have some photographs. This story about this creep who has ended his own existence went around the world like a lightning bolt. And there's GUNs, but I can show some of the hardware. Here this individual is. doing a video. I'm not going to play anything. Minutes before the attack. Okay, this person thinks they're of the female persuasion, even though all signs from God and science say otherwise. And they're finding out more. This person, their mother used to work for the school. And here is another picture of this delicate flower and some of the words he put on his hardware, right? And CNN is all rightly under fire, along with the rest of the lunatic mainstream lying media. Those liars and they're damn liars. And they are a bunch of damn liars. They put it out there. Well, it was a white male, and he had this Donald Trump's name on his weapons. That's what they said. You know, and sure enough, these freaks like this. Hang on, freaks like this. Now, this is before this happened. Legal AF and Midas Trash Network. They're going to, it was a white male with Donald Trump's name on his weapons. Here's a sample of what Legal AF. Trump's attack on the Federal Reserve caught the world central bankers and investment community in shock as they continue to take their trillions of dollars and flee the U.S. Popak, this guy's a lawyer, takes a close look at Trump's assault on the investability of the U.S. What the hell is he talking about? And what it means for our national debt and financial stability. Here's a nice picture. They pick him, make him look more orange. You know, they go through footage when they can find the most unattractive shot of him. And what the hell do they know about the U.S.'s investability? We're worried about your instability when you run around saying you're an officer of the court and put this kind of tripe up. Anyway, I'll show some more examples from them, Midas Trash Network. But they need to go over these people's social media with a fine-tooth comb. Who is contributing to this garbage? Did this person have a therapist? They need one involved. MK, okay. Remember that beer we used to drink? What was it called? Ultra? Yeah, that was Michelob. But MK, right? Hi, Joy. How you doing? So, you know, a lot of interesting things came out. A lot of hints from Trump. And not so subtle hints. Like he put out there that Soros and his son need to be checked out for RICO violations. I'll put that up in a minute. Here's another picture talking about anti-Semitic things. And of course, they can't spell. Here we go. Here's another shot. FTW's F the world. Okay, that's what I surmise. Israel must fall. Like a phoenix, we rise from the ashes. So this person was careening into madness, and nobody knew about it. What about those parents of that one kid that went to school, Crumleys? The Crumleys, they're cooling their heels in jail. What about this so-called mother? Where is this who introduced him to the concept of traineeism. 6 million wasn't enough. How much? What, he just put this stuff on his stuff today? I can't show that. I can't show those. I can show the clips, but not the other stuff. There's the clips. A lunatic. And nobody saw it coming. He doesn't have a therapist. I don't have any idea what this means. Brelvik? Who knows? Who knows? They probably got their own language. Or think they have a language. Pappy, how you doing? Nice to see you. Roland. Joy's here. Brett's here. Nice to see you. Yeah, shut the Fed down. Yeah, there's a lot of crap going on with the central banks over in Europe. I don't care. We owe debt to who? To who? The printing machine? Who owns all this debt that we're supposed to be paying interest into? And who keeps printing the money and making our money less valuable so we can't pay it back? Confiscatory policies. They get people to the point where they can't pay and they confiscate their property and their rights. This is the school that got attacked today. This little kid right here, he said he was sitting like 2 seats away from the stained glass. Let's see what, and he had a friend cover him. A brave friend who, fortunately, was injured but is going to be all right, according to this young lad here.
What happened with him? Is he okay?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be okay. And then my friend, he was like laying on top of me, like making sure I was safe, and he got hit. So that was really brave of him.
And you have a nick on your neck?
Yeah, that was, I don't even know what it's from. Kind of looks like debris or something.
But that came from during this?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? You seem pretty put together here, but it's got to be tough.
Yeah, I'm just like confused.
Apparently he got a little piece of glass or debris hit him in the neck. That's awful. It's horrible. Did anybody hear what the total was? I heard 2 had passed away and 20 in total. 18 injured and 2 passed away. But I also heard another report said 3 passed away. Ah, I see, Todd. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Jerry. Nice to see you. Yeah, debtor's prison all over again. Same thing. Same thing. So Trump ordered the flags at half-staff. That's what I put in my thumbnail, was pictures of the White House with the flags at half-staff. And that we're not going to take this kind of abuse anymore, and that's what it is organized abuse. Organized abuse. Trump put up, I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The police, the FBI responded quickly, and they are on the scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved. Well, what shot around the world was this nitwit mayor in Minneapolis. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, this is about Germany. I'll get to that in a minute. Germany started up one of its ammunition factories, something they haven't done probably since World War II, and getting into the business of giving armaments to Ukraine. We'll get into that in a minute. But this is from Ruski News. All the way over in Ruski land, they were reporting on it. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey on the Annunciation Catholic Church massacre. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community has lost their sense of common humanity. And he also enters. I got that clip. Let me. I don't think he says that part in the clip, but he does to defend people like this. Right here. The Sun put this out. Sick footage shows gunmen maniacally giggling while showing off guns minutes before ending the lives of children at school. How can this be allowed? How old was that person? Does anybody know? And I say was. How old was that person? Because they no longer exist if what they're saying is true. Is this it with the, oh no, this is, I know what that one is. Let me see if I can find the clip. I believe this is it. Bear with me as I get these blank screen videos of which I can't stand. Anyway, here he is.
All of us. A lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
There's no community like that in my life, okay? I don't want that community in my life. I don't have to accept them in my life. I wouldn't let them ride in a car with me. I wouldn't sit down and have lunch with them. They could be the nicest person in the world. But if you're a man, a hairy-legged man running around in a dress, and I know about it, I will spend my time elsewhere. Thank you very much. And I don't believe people like that should be allowed around children. Because they certainly wouldn't be allowed around mine. So, yeah, it's going around the world. People are stunned worldwide. This is another thing from Ruski News, showing posts. I got a cleaner picture of these posts. What do they say? Leftists and transsexuals on Reddit and Blue Sky are celebrating the attack. Friend just got an email from his Catholic school in another state assuring parents they won't let their kids get SHOT too as they locked down the school and had police guard the campus. Cool country we have. Yeah, it's real cool. Here's some of their posts. I didn't read them all. So that's your typical freaked out liberal. A cartoon of them over there. What's that say? Based. Take the fight to their kids so they can feel like what it's like to be attacked for your identity. Electro-fascists, your kids are legitimate targets. Republicans are enemies of humanity. And thinning the herd is our duty. How much you want to bet that a good number of these people that are posting subscribe to Midas Trash Pail Network. More DEAD Christians. LOL. To me, it seems like if you elect a really and weaponizes cruelness and horrific behaviors against your neighbors, blah, 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 justifying it. What is the title of this? This is Republicans' fault for trying to genocide us. Am I supposed to feel bad that rich Christian kids are gone? Good riddance. Oh, we're supposed to welcome them to our table, right? Part of our community, right? So, yeah, you can get a screenshot of that and read the rest of this tripe yourself. But the internet's forever, and this is the type of stuff that's going around with these lunatics, these mentally ill, criminally, mentally insane people are doing. But here we have one person, Mira Bowser. She's married to who's Donna Brazil. So she's not exactly a scion of morality in my book. And Trump, if you notice, the other day said she's not the worst. She's not too bad. He gave a kind of a sideways compliment to her, but it is clear he's taken over D.C. She's second fiddle, and here she is thanking Donald Trump.
Greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but I'm going to get my glasses so I can make sure I can see it correctly. But for carjackings, the difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. We know that when carjackings go down, when the use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer. So this surge has been important to us for that reason.
Yeah, I think she got, she had a come to Jesus meeting, I think, with her involvement in the attack on the White House and St. John's Church when they were throwing rocks and bottles and they were claiming Trump was hiding in his bunker. Remember that? I think she got, had the Ajax put to her and was told, you better get your head on right. So this idiot here comes out. This idiot, criminal, idiot, member of the Muslim. Don't you all know that? He's the founder of ISIS. Don't they say Trump was right again? I don't know if I have any new viewers. I may. To come out, I'm looking for my little clip of Trump in case nobody believes me that he's the founder of ISIS. And we're at war with ISIS. Could he say he's the leader if he's the founder? And I came across some snapshots I took of Dan Scavino. Dan Scavino's truth, I'll go over them with you. That we're not forgetting about this right here.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS, okay? He's the founder. He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
There you go. There you go. And ugly Jim Acosta, who's doing bizarre videos on his own. But what did this founder of ISIS have to say? This member of the Muslim Brotherhood? We can't allow ourselves to become numb to mass shootings. What happened today in Minneapolis is heartbreaking. And Michelle and I, Mike and I, are praying for the parents who have lost a child or will be sitting at their hospital bedside after yet another act of... Yeah. He's also the founder of a curriculum put in at the federal level to psychologically abuse children and make them think they were born in the wrong body. Psychological abuse. He's the founder of that also. And it needs to be called out for what it is. They belong under the damn jail. Dopey Joe doesn't even know he's alive. There he is. That's a picture from probably 10 years ago. Without the rubber stretched over his face. No parent should ever have to bury their child. Jill and I are heartbroken, and there are simply no words to adequately mark such horrific and painful moment. With all our hearts, we're praying for the victims, their families, and the community of Minneapolis. And every report I saw on UTizzle was showing Governor Walz. I'm not going to put his picture up unless it's him running around in a dress. I had one of them in a cheerleading outfit. Where is it? I don't want to hear from him either. Because this is the result of that psychological abuse being inculcated in our school system. This is where they showed 2 children, 17 people injured. I heard it was 18 people injured, or 17 and 3. And checking the chats, I can only go back so far. Yeah, Justin, how you doing? I went offline. I got plucked off. I started off a little rough. I mean, I had a video up there people probably wouldn't agree with. This is, yeah, Governor Walz says, like he was taking charge. He's on the scene. Tampon Tim is in charge. Don't worry. Everything's under control. Which truth is this from Trump? Oh, this is what we were worried about before this horrific action, okay? This coordinated destruction of American icons, for anywhere from movies to comic books to what you buy in the store, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, Land O'Lakes, whatever, a continuation. Trump put out a bit of advice. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response to the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than every publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity. Have a major news conference today. Cracker Barrel, a winner again. Remember, in just a short period of time, I made the United States of America the hottest country anywhere in the world. 1 year ago, it was DEAD. Well, not everybody is an idiot at Cracker Barrel management. Would have been great if they put this up. That would have really said we're going to have a 60-day period where this is going to be our logo. And then we're going back to Uncle Herschel. Uncle Herschel. That would have been smart. But the internet was doing it for them. The internet was doing it for them. And they did wise up. They did wise up. Amid mounting controversy surrounding Cracker Barrel's recent logo change and redesign, the restaurant chain said it's going back to its old logo Tuesday. ABC News had to hate putting this up. But here you go. There's Uncle Herschel. The old country store. The old country store. So, yeah, Donald Trump, I should have seen how much time between these truths this actually happened. Immediately, congratulations, Cracker Barrel, on changing your logo back to what it was. All of your fans very much appreciate it. Good luck into the future. Again. So, yeah, he could have not said anything and just let them stew in their own juices. I wonder if I can play this video. It's got copyright music. Let me see if I can get rid of the music. Let me see. I'll play it a second. You get the gist, right? YMC. Hey, hey, Uncle Herschel. Here comes Trump. I'm in my country outfit. They made him a little portly there. They could have trimmed him up a little bit. But there you go, young man. There's no need to feel down. Yeah, we're having a big time here at Cracker Barrel. Well, maybe they're up their game with their food. I don't know. You know, I might still get a strike because the music is embedded in the video. So I don't know. We shall see. Hi, Robin. How you doing? Nice to see you also. So let's see. Oh, here we are. Women for Newsom. They said he went up in the polls with Democrats. Not with Republicans, but he went up in the polls with Democrats. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that was great, wasn't it, Debbie? I wish I could play it, but I every time I get a strike. Every time. You know, and the White House posted this too. Here's a lady in D.C. What a nice, clean-looking store. Right? And here's a person who has to get up in the morning, pay bills, manage a business, have a schedule, have plans, pack a lunch, and go to work every day. And the White House put this video out.
My name is Tamika. The store has been vandalized before with a bunch of teens running in, and then one of the staff members got hurt and injured as well. And it kind of traumatized me a little bit. I didn't like it. It's kind of hurtful. Sometimes I'd be afraid to walk out this door, go to my car. People work hard for their business. Tired of kids looting. They stealing every day. Even adults come here and steal. They walk beside the kids stuff in their pockets. What type of parenting you doing? Like I tell kids all the time, I get them free stuff all the time. I tell them, like, if you're hungry, I will feed you. A lot of teens need to be dealt with and accountable for their actions because they know right from wrong. If their parents can't be accountable for them, I mean, the government needs to step in.
That place was spotless. What did Trump say? Look at the front door. If it's dirty, don't go in because the kitchen will be dirty, everything will be dirty. Can't say that about her store. Yeah, so Chicago and all these other places, you better hold on to your hats because we're coming. We are coming. MAGA is coming. Make America great again. Everybody's welcome into that minute. But now, are you all ready for this? Have to give you a little language warning. And keep a sharp eye out. At the very beginning, you'll see somebody with a pregnant tum-tum sticking out. We are talking behind the counter at a McDonald's. See if you'll spot these bedroom slippers, sandals with socks, and people doing what they want. And the quality of management. Do you think this manager's like Tomika goes to bed and makes sure she is getting ready for a day of productivity, a day of customer service, looking to achieve? I don't know, folks. You tell me.
Got the customers in here making their own food, man. Everybody in here trying to help her out. This shit crazy. Manager over here sleep standing up and shit. Me at McDonald's on Lindell, man. Check in. Look at my boy on the fries, cuz. Look at she over here drooling. Come on, baby girl. You the manager, man. You supposed to do better than this. This shit crazy. Everybody just getting their free meals in, man. Teamwork make the dream work. She don't work here neither. I know that's right. That shit crazy. We live at the McDonald's on Lindell, man. I'm out this motherfucker, cool.
Yeah, she's all cracked out or methed out or whatever. And people are doing what they want in the store. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Some more hardworking people. Immigrants. America been very, very good to me. Here he is. Look at him. He's working hard, see? Look at that look on his face. See, he's working hard, dropping off stuff. Look. Oh my gosh, this is such hard work. I got to cram all these things in this box. And then I got to race off and go get some more. What is he working so hard at? I'll tell you here in a second. The young lady I told you about, Christina Aguayo. Democrat Abu Musa, under investigation for election fraud in Michigan, while being investigated by police for residence issues in all the Muslim government's community. The Hamtramck councilman is accused of ballot stuffing in a tight primary race. Musa is now under active investigation for election fraud, just days after he advanced Christina Aguayo news. Musa was caught on surveillance footage as a passenger in a black car, handing over and depositing 3 large stacks of absentee ballots into a city drop box just days before the vote. This comes as a bigger probe. Let me go to the next page. Into corruption and voter irregularities in the Detroit area city is being conducted. The video, timestamped shortly before the primary, shows a man that appears to be Musa feeding the driver envelopes who then deposits them in the drop box. Well, I would check out that person's identity, the driver, and along with Musa, I'd do an immigration investigation. And if possible, just go ahead and get their rear ends out of the country. But anyway, Musa advanced to the November general election, securing 1,053 votes, just dozens more than some of his competitors, where absentee ballots were critical in the outcome. This isn't the first scandal for Musa or Hamtramck's All-Muslim Community Council, which has drawn criticism for its migrant majority governance. In fact, 4 of those 6 council members are under scrutiny, with a spotlight on the large migrant community that allegedly allows illegal migrants to vote. Can you believe that? Well, would you look at that? Look at that. Look at that. Earlier this year, Musa was implicated in a 2023 election fraud investigation involving forged absentee ballot applications. However, he was not charged at the time. That investigation, led by the Michigan Attorney General's office, oh boy, I'd like to get a load of that bunch, has since resulted in felony charges against 2 of his fellow councilmen, Mohammed Hassan and Tahsin Sadman, for allegedly forging signatures and making false statements on ballots. The Michigan State Police are now wrapping up a related resident investigation into Musa and others over claims he lives outside the city limits. Meanwhile, undercover reporting has exposed multiple ballot harvesting schemes in Hamtramck, where candidates are allegedly bullying voters and collecting ballots door to door. Well, we saw that with somebody named Ilhan Omar, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Well, we're not going to take it anymore. You take one little hamlet, you know, it's just as bad as it taking over. Like Lincoln said, we won't give 1 inch of our country over. 1 inch. Either through arms or subterfuge, you're not going to get away with it. That's what they're doing over there in Ruski land, giving kids basic training. 10 cities, you say, Roland? Well, you know, it's however need to be tackled. Here's that clip that I saw where Trump called Pritzker a slob. A slob of a governor. He also called Chris Christie in the past many times a slob and sloppy. But I knew I saw it somewhere where he called Pritzker a slob. Let's see. What's this? Here we go. I copied this one in black to make sure I knew which one it was. This is what we've all been waiting for. Pulling back the curtain. George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support of violent protests and much more, all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore, never giving it so much as a chance to, capital letters, breathe and be free. Is that a reference to George Kirby? Are we going to find out something about that? I can't breathe. Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country. That includes his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful. We're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Who's the crazy West Coast friends? So many to choose from. But I'd say the head honcho of a crazy West Coast friend would be Gruesome Newsom, one of many. One of many. Trump put this out. There's a sick rumor going around that fake news NBC extended the contract of one of the least talented late night television hosts out there, Seth Meyers. I can't remember a time I've ever watched any of his programs. He has no ratings. Well, apparently there are other people that can say the same thing. Talent or intelligence and the personality of an insecure child. So why would fake news extend this dope's contract? I don't know, but I'll definitely be finding out. He didn't put thank you for your attention as a matter. But yeah, Seth Meyers, what is his story? Why would Trump focus on that? I'm sure there's a reason. Where's that Newsmax thing? Newsmax even put it out, where he called him a dope. That dope Seth Meyers. You guys remember this meme? I used to put it up. I found this the other day. I found this yesterday while I was just scrolling through my history. How I show up to family gatherings in 2023, knowing all my conspiracy theories came true. Well, you know, I found it interesting because I had a collection of stuff that I saved from Dan Scavino. And I'll show you an interesting one. This was from December, I believe 2023. And there were only like 5 truths from Dan Scavino I saved. And this was one of them. What did John Bolton do with all of his yellow notepads that he, capital letters, always took copious notes on in that cabinet room, Oval Office, Situation Room, traveling abroad, etc., etc., etc.? Guess what? If he's taking notes, they're classified. They're not personal. They're not your property. And that's what Dan Scavino was telling us back in December of 2024, I believe. A little window into the future. And then he put up, Mark Jesper has a lot to say. Talk about being weak. He gets an A+. He's talking about Mark Esper. Then I found this one. They were all together. If your phone doesn't ring when you're struggling, remember not to pick up the calls when you're winning. Was Mark Esper calling him? Interesting. Hearing from friends in D.C. that the U.S. Secret Service is making some moves at the top, spreading around some promotions to Biden's people before President-elect Donald Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance take office at 12:01 on 1/20/25. We know what's up. So I found those very interesting. because he mentions, I think, Mark Elias, who we just saw with Mr. Sweaty Man on a clip day before yesterday, where they're very nervous, very nervous. So, I'm confident that things are going very smoothly. And according to the PLAN, right? The PLAN. And right next to these, I found another interesting post. Let me find it. If it transferred over from, it may not have got over into my studio. I may have missed that podge. He basically says he's like an elephant. He never forgets. He's an Irish elephant. Here we are. No, this is Shadow of Ezra. That's another post from that back in the day, as we can say now. But he remembers everybody that screwed him over. And one of them, the main one, is Barack Obama. I'll have to find that and put it up. I will have to find that and put it up. Barack Hussein, the stain, Obama. I don't see it offhand, folks. But let me see what Shadow of Ezra said. I was gonna make a list of people or options you could put in a poll. Who's the next one that's going to get raided / indicted or arrested? There's so many. Sam Bankman-Fried admitted that FTX was a crypto laundromat for the Ukrainian government. Joe Biden gave our tax dollars to Ukraine. Ukraine washed the money through crypto exchange FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried then proceeded to donate that money to Democrats and Republicans. Democrats then stole the elections with the help of Republicans. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my. Here's pictures of Abe Lincoln and JFK. They both have something in common. Challenging the feds, one. Wealth-based, debt-free, non-interest-bearing money issued by the U.S. Treasury. In 1862, President Lincoln issued $450 million directly from the U.S. Treasury. These debt-free, interest-free notes were known as greenbacks. On June 4, 1963, President Kennedy signed Executive Order 11110, issuing $4.3 billion directly from the U.S. Treasury, bypassing the Federal Reserve Bank. These debt-free, interest-free notes were known as silver certificates. And of course, we know the other thing they have in common is that they were both assassinated. Just a little reminder for folks. Here, a little something from Clandestine. They chose to defund the police, allowed their cities to fall into chaos, and are now actively obstructing Trump from making this nation safer. When are we going to accurately label the Democrat Party as a terrorist organization? A terrorist organization. And to back that up, he put this up. A terrorist organization is threats to achieve political, ideological, or religious or social goals, often targeting civilians or non-combatants to create fear and disrupt societies. Definitions may vary by country and context, but key elements typically include the use of violence, engaging in or planning acts like bombings, shootings, or kidnappings, intent to terrorize, aiming to install fear in a population or coerce governments, organized structure, operating as a coordinated group with leadership, funding, and strategies. Pay attention, Mr. Soros and your son Alex, married to Huma Abedin. Are judges involved in this? Are judges part of this systematic disruption of our economy and our culture and our population and our votes? Isn't it funny, Bubba? You came back into the chats and I have some stuff in my studio going down memory lane. She passed away. She was a veteran and she would post very enjoyable clips on YouTube. I encourage you to check her channel out. But she posted this. Judge asked Trump about his Aberdeen lands. Trump, I have a castle. At some point, maybe in my very old age, I'll go there and do the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. So Patricia posted this when Trump was being persecuted. Pick the judge, Kaplan and Goron, Mercan, Chutkin. What would the beautiful thing he's planning on doing be? That was never reported. But what is reported now about is this young girl. I know I can't put the clip up. But her and her friends were being harassed. And she pulled out some hardware. And she meant business. Came back when she saw her friends were still being picked on. And that is a generous term. Everybody knows about the assaults from the new neighbors, the innocent migrants coming over, what they do when they find young women by themselves. What has been notoriously been happening. She's from Scotland. Right Angle News Network put up breaking. Police arrested and charged a 14-year-old girl after she was forced to brandish a knife to defend herself and her friend against a migrant who attempted to assault her near St. Anne's Lane in Dundee, Scotland. And there she is. And I could have got a screenshot where she was holding the axe and the blade, much like what you see in this drawing. She was holding it up in the air and giving him what fur. And what else are you going to do? Here's another post. It had been burning up the internet. These little symbols keep popping up as things keep degrading. Our forefathers would be absolutely disgusted with the state of society their children inherited willingly handing it over to savages as if history hasn't taught us anything. The barbarians are already past the gates if you haven't noticed. Young girls need to carry So let's see how they treat her. Let's see how Trump treats Scotland, depending on how they treat this young lady. Well, actually, the UK, right? Because he's already put word out. He's put word out. Telegraph. Donald Trump is considering a United States travel ban for European Union officials responsible for the bloc's Digital Services Act and additional tariffs on countries with similar laws, which he claims discriminate against Americans. But what do they put in the title? Trump considers U.S. ban for EU officials who censor Americans. Are we gonna do normal trade and treat countries normal that abuse their citizens, that throw their citizens in jail for months or even years for saying something that the government doesn't agree with? And let the wiseacre liberals bring up the flag burning business. I've already been over that. Flag burning is incitement to riot, and it is a physical act. And that so-called veteran that burned the flag, I didn't even put a picture of him up. He's a worthless bum. Yeah. We're not going to put up with it. We're not going to put up with it. Let's see what this is. Donald Trump put this up. Iranian official admits our real goal was to build a bomb. This report in the news, he put up the other day. Day before yesterday. You hear anybody talk about this Iranian official say on video that they were going to build a bomb? Of course not. I didn't get a copy of it because it's completely in their native language, which I do not understand. Here's an example of what are we going to put up with this. Entering an English pub carrying an English flag in England. Why not? Why couldn't they go in pub with a flag on their arm? Oh, it might offend people like the ones stuffing the ballots here in our country. Right? Yeah, right. Here we have report pictures on them. Voters, including 28 Democrats, said President Trump's actions in Washington, D.C. to tackle crime were justified and necessary, according to a new poll. Said 54% say Trump's D.C. moves justified. Well, Harvard is a bastion for Marxism. And here's the same picture being used by National Public Radio. Why are they pairing this picture up? The most illegal search, judges push back against D.C. criminal charges. What are they talking about? Bolton? A most illegal search? What did judges say about Mar-a-Lago? In the Mar-a-Lago search, not a damn thing. No, they cheered about it because they're out of control. A lot of these judges are sacrificing their legitimacy with their rulings, anti-American rulings, defying the Supreme Court, defying appellate courts. A new feed, they're going to be brought down. NBC News. Trump vows to go after Biden's advisors. President Donald Trump on Monday said he would go target former President Joe Biden's circle, calling them evil people. So they're trying to delegitimize the law enforcement efforts, the prosecution efforts, justified prosecution efforts by the Justice Department, by painting it out to be illegal, seeking vengeance. This guy, Chicago One Ray. Kilmar Arrego Garcia had it so good in El Salvador, he was able to fish, lift weights, eat good, all the comforts of home, but Democrats got involved, and now he's heading to Uganda. They eat grasshoppers. Ha ha. This is what I voted for. Oh, but wait a minute. Judge Paula Zenas has somehow taken control of the case, and Kilmar Abrego Garcia is going to be suing for asylum in the United States. And was it Midas Trash Network or, let me see, yeah, it was Midas Trash. Will Judge Zenas grant amnesty to Abrego Garcia after Trump misconduct? DOJ misconduct? Misconduct. Can the Fed resist Trump? Oh, yeah, we all want the Fed to win over Trump. Will Dems win the congressional map fight? This and more on tonight's Legal AF. So there's a judge in Utah that's trying to throw out the congressional map that was passed, I think in 2021, to try to get the Democrats to finagle another seat. Trump made mention of that. Although my the print is so small on these in the studio. Let me see if this is it. Monday's court order in Utah is absolutely unconstitutional. How did such a wonderful Republican state like Utah, which I won in every election, end up with so many radical left judges? Well, you had Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden pumping them out with the help of Republicans. All citizens of Utah should be outraged at their activist judiciary, which wants to take away our congressional advantage, and will do everything possible to do so. This incredible state sent 4 great Republicans to Congress, and we want to keep it that way. Utah GOP has to stay united and make sure their 4 terrific Republican congressmen stay right where they are. So here we have an activist judge taking upon themselves to start screwing around with congressional maps, election maps. Here, you could have watched this live tonight. This is Midas Trash Pail Network, but the guy on the left is Popov or Popov or whatever his name is. He's the one on Legal AF. See, They're like two peas in a pod. They're like worms in a clump of dirt. And how they took off to where Midas Trash Network supposedly had a higher audience on Spotify than Joe Rogan. Tell me how that works. Maybe we have to ask one of these media outfits that might be getting help from people like George Soros. What do they have? Breaking legal news. Trump scheme implodes in court as DOJ falls apart. If Republicans were rooting for the failure of anything in the Obama administration, these people would be screaming bloody murder. But they can do and say whatever the hell they want to do and say. Speaking of Mark, meta page, how do you tell a communist? There's Ronald Reagan. Well, it's somebody who reads Marx and Lenin. And how do you tell an anti-communist? It's someone who understands Marx and Lenin. From the great Ronaldo Maximus. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Here's something else Trump did. CDC director, how you say her name, has been fired. She just got approved 2 weeks ago. How you doing, WH Dove? Nice to see all you, Dove. Ha ha ha. If that's all right. Yes, we have lunatic judges. Lunatic. So anyway, yeah, CDC, they're unhappy with RFK Jr. He came out today with this. And he's absolutely right. How do you give somebody a medical degree when, wait a minute, we've gone decades. It's the late 80s. You know, when they came out with New Coke, this is what I have deduced in my brain. They could make high fructose corn syrup real cheap. Fructose corn syrup. It's a man-made sweetener. Its construction is such that the human body does not even know how to process it. It's not meant for human consumption. But it makes things taste sweet. And it's cheaper than sugar. That's when Coca-Cola, in the late 80s, I believe. Changed their formula because it was better. You know, in Mexico, they have original Coke with real cane sugar in Mexico. They don't sell that crap high fructose corn syrup in their Coke because they probably know something. How can people be ingesting millions of children, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of adults and children, be pouring something down their throat that's unnatural, causes 12-year-olds needing liver transplants because of fatty liver. And people call themselves doctors and don't say a damn thing about it. Oh, because it's easier to treat the disease. There's more money in treating the disease than curing it. And here's the case saying, if you don't know anything about dietary needs and preventive medicine, you shouldn't be allowed to call yourself a doctor.
Hey, everybody, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. Today, the medical education system. I'm leading a team at HHS with the support of Secretary McMahon at the Department of Education. that targets a situation that everyone has long recognized as it's the woeful lack of nutrition education in medicine. Poor diet drives America's chronic disease crisis, fueling 7 of our 10 deadliest conditions. Each year, it claims an estimated 1 million American lives through diet-related illnesses. Meanwhile, we pour more than $4 trillion annually into treating these preventable diseases, and we continue to graduate physicians unprepared to confront their root cause. The good news is that diet not only causes these conditions, it can also prevent and reverse them. But for too long, we've instead analyzed the chronic disease crisis, commissioned studies, and pontificated about the importance of nutrition without taking any meaningful action. Recent data reveals a critical disconnect. Although all medical schools claim to include nutrition in their curricula, most medical students report receiving no formal nutrition education throughout their entire training. This leads to a troubling reality. Nearly all medical residents are asked to counsel patients about nutrition, but fewer than a quarter of practicing physicians feel adequately prepared to provide nutrition advice. We can reverse the chronic disease epidemic simply by changing our diets and lifestyles. To do that, we need nutrition to be a basic part of every doctor's training. We'll start by embedding nutrition directly into college pre-med programs and testing it on the MCAT. Every future physician should master the language of prevention before they even touch a stethoscope. Under President Trump's leadership, we are going to systematically transform nutrition education throughout American medicine. For more than 200 of America's medical schools, 13,000 residency and fellowship programs, and ultimately each of the nation's 1.1 million practicing physicians. In the future, doctors won't just prescribe drugs. They'll be able to prescribe diets as well, by confidently screening for diet-related diseases and collaborating with nutrition experts to recommend food-based solutions. Our reforms will save our country hundreds of billions of dollars and prevent. This is an approach that is both radical and common sense. We're going to reconnect medicine with its roots. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." His advice remains true today, and we're bringing back food to its proper place in medicine.
Produced by the
There you go.
Health and Human Services.
Let me tell you something. His voice has improved. Is it just me, folks? Or doesn't his voice sound more stable and powerful? I believe he's been getting good therapy for his voice, and now it was primarily a neuromuscular issue that he's had addressed. He's doing well on it. It's a progressive thing that you gotta stay on top of. So anyway, yeah, his voice is doing much better. Somebody put this up. Is this real? I'm keeping my little girl up there with her axe and her sword. Okay, because she's going to ward off people like this. ESPN. Kaepernick gets his NFL career back. Joins his Vikings cheer squad. Yeah, it really has been. So I think it has. They got therapy for everything, but it's work. And he might not have had access to the best voice therapists or what have you. So he's doing a lot better. Here's what people need to see. Put that on your Meta, along with a copy of RFK. Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, Dove. You got to hit the like button. It helps the video to get around. And if you're not subscribed, why not? That way you'll know when I go live, right? And you can join us in the chats. I got a video from John Solomon. I'm not too sure what this is about. Let me see. Oh, I think this is going to be about Comey and Comey's attorney. I think it's more names. I'm going to have to come up with a five names. I'm putting a poll. Who do you think is going to get it first out of these 5 people? And we might do the poll one night. I'm not saying it's going to be the next one, but out of the 5, who's going to get it first? Anyway, let's hear what John Solomon's got to say.
Two very important things. The 2 big stories we broke last week. The knowledge now that James Comey authorized a leak according to his own lawyer. He authorized a classified leak. And according to Adam Schiff's own Democratic House Intelligence Committee staffer, he authorized a classified leak. Those 2 cases have a 10-year statute. They don't even require a conspiracy case to be made. So those are early ones for us to see. Are they going to do it? They just raided John Bolton's house. That's outside 5 years of these alleged offenses. Those also are signaling that maybe they're going to do eyes, and we saw our first charges in the fall if Pam Bondi shares about. If we go to Christmas and there are no charges, I think all of our skepticism is going to be pretty high.
Yeah, if we don't see charges by Christmas, we're going to have skepticism. And he was talking about Comey's going to have to be on that list because he's been from the very beginning. He's been on the radar along with some others. I got to think of who I think is going to be on the hot seat. On the hot seat. Look here. Karl Rove. Why would you waste his time talking about Karl Rove? Maybe there's a reason. Ryan Karl Rove works on Fox and Friends this morning how to explain the tremendous success of the Republican Party with millions of people joining it and the Dems losing millions, was unable to give an answer. He just couldn't utter the words. President Donald J. Trump. But that's okay. The people get it and always have. Maybe he was involved with some of this poll rigging. Wouldn't you say poll rigging is going to be a thing? What's this? Oh. What are they talking about? Well, we talked the other night. The guy throwing the sandwich, striking an officer with an object. The prosecution is toast. They're all excited. And I heard there were lawyers behind this channel working against the interest of justice. D.C. residents rebuke Justice Department and refuse to indict DOJ official who threw Subway sandwich at a cop. A stunning rebuke by D.C. residents. Oh, wasn't it a stunning rebuke when once Durham put on trial, the jury wouldn't convict because they were members of the swamp themselves, right? Members of the swamp themselves. But what did I say when I heard that they were trying to drop those charges against the guy? I said, watch what happens. If they say, well, it wasn't intended to hurt, a sandwich isn't that big a deal. I said they'd be throwing eggs, they'd be throwing everything you can think of and abusing the police. I said that. Well, here's the comments. Just one click of the comments, one snapshot. It's not illegal to throw a sandwich. The cop should have moved out of the way faster. Oh, okay. So if you throw an object at a cop, he's got to move. Eggs would work. Substandard subway is not illegal. Substandard and subway is not illegal then? Throw up vegetables. The sandwich heard around the world. They think it's funny. It's another attempt at weakening law and order. Boy, are these lawyers raking in money. FEMA employee Trump administration placed on leave. How much you want to bet they're going to be suing? ABC News. The 36 current FEMA employees who signed their names in Congress critical of Trump administration's actions at the agency have been placed on administrative leave, according to an email posted by a group of Stand Up for Science. What I'm hoping is while they're on leave, there will be people combing through their social media and other emails. And if they don't fit in the picture, they get subsequently fired. That's what I'm hoping for. Some employees Monday warned that Congress, that the Trump administration's changes and leadership at the agency could harm the nation if disaster strikes. So they're taking it upon themselves to cause some action in Congress. They don't have a chain of command. They put their differences out. They deserve to be heard and presented with their concerns in Congress against the administration. Okay, the group that said the employees on leave include individuals who directly involved in care efforts and care process. Well, that's their job. Their job. Screw around with the administration's handling of an agency. So anyway, hopefully that what I said earlier will come true. Let's see what this is. Something else. Different cross on some flag is enacted. I happen to agree. This is a was put up on the Ruski News. Naval activity. U.S. Southern Command and 4th Fleet assets. What's going on? What is going to happen? Something's going to pop off. Here you have Bloomberg reports that Venezuelan army and police deployed 15 and Takira as Venezuela mobilizes forces ahead of the U.S. Navy Iwo Jima ARGs. I had a description of the vessel. Let me see, this might be right here. Yeah, here we go. Update on the U.S. Navy's deployment Southcom. U.S. Naval Intelligence assigned to the task force. U.S. Lake Erie operating in U.S. 4th Fleet. IWOARG. I don't. Maybe that's their. I don't know what that is. Underway en route to South. USS Iwo Jima. USS Lauderdale. Yesterday, that's Virginia, the Virginia coast. guess it'll be coming down the Potomac. Chesapeake Bay. Look, USS USS Gravely, USS Denham, and USS Minneapolis St. Paul are on station in the Caribbean. The USS Sampson is still south of Panama. The fast attack sub remains unidentified. Several have been active off the East Coast in August. Active fast attacks. Something's going to go down. Is this going to be a simultaneous operation? Domestic deep state? And also cartels? Here's Babylon B. British authorities arrest St. George for brandishing blazing at a dragon. Yeah, the UK ain't what it used to be. It just ain't what it used to be. Genius enacts plan to dumb down Chinese population by inviting them to attend American universities. In response to Trump allowing China's a bunch of stupid. But you know what? A lot of people here and live the lifestyle and like communism. They get to say what they want, do what they want, and can't. It's kind of like reverse infiltration. We get inculcated into the American system and then ship them to China. Oh, Yvonne, I'm picking up. Hi, Yvonne. How you doing? Oh, yeah, this is bad. Remember his brother? This is yesterday. Happy birthday to my wonderful brother, Robert. He's now watching down on us and very proud with what he is seeing. What a great he was. I'm and always will. I yeah, I don't like that. I'm breaking up. You know, I have to do an update on platform. I don't know how involved that is. I don't know how it's going to interfere with broadcast in the future. Tomorrow, I'm required to do a update, so I should be broadcasting. Let me see what this video is. Well, I'll save it. I will. Well, I had a lot of reports from Ruby Land. We can talk about those tomorrow. What's this one? See if this video plays smoothly, folks. Let's see if this video plays smoothly. Let me know how it goes.
And Human Services is announcing that the director of the CDC is out. This is just a few weeks after she was confirmed. Susan Menarez is leaving. Also, this is on top of Reuters now reporting that several others at the CDC have issued their resignation letters. The reasoning is unclear, though. The New York Times is reporting it was over differences with Secretary Kennedy on vaccine policy.
Did that clear? Did it break up? Did it break up or play clear? Ah, it's fine. Oh, good. Yeah, Miss Minister's right. Always with me. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I want to thank you for spending precious time with me. I got a video I think you'll want to play right now. And I want to thank everybody that hung out this week. Buy me a coffee. Wayne and Mike and Bev. And I guess I'll do a monthly recap at the end of the month. That's out. I do weekly updates. Who is the last week of the month, and I appreciate Mike and Bev helping out. Yvonne was not clear. Okay, hi, Oster Boy. All right. Anyway, I should be guessing tomorrow night, if everything goes well, with a soft update. But if you're subscribed to the notification, you'll know we go live. So anyway, once again, thank you for spending your time with me. Enjoy this little video. You all have a great night. This is my man. Over and out.
Cracker Barrel. The name alone, it's sacred. It's America. It's rocking chairs, biscuits the size of your fist, and a store full of things nobody asked for, but you buy anyway. And now they've gone and changed the logo. Here's the truth. Nobody asked for a new logo. What we wanted was unlimited biscuits. What we wanted was a third peg in that triangle game so we could finally win. But no. Instead of giving the people what they want, they gave us a logo that looks like it was designed by sleepy Joe Biden. At what point do we as a country put a stop to this tyrannical destruction of our rich culture and history?